Hi, this is Dustin's brother Brennan, and I never listen to Untaken, and probably never will, and it's because I don't love it.
That one always hurts. That one always hurts.
Truer words never spoken. No. Oh, and we're live.
Yep, and we're live. I normally start the show with like a witty retort or something, a funny observation or question for you. Today's is brought to you by a friend of the show, Punk Rock Bob Foster from the group chat. I know you don't dwell in there as often as
I pop in occasionally.
Yeah. You don't have, you have a more well-rounded online diet than me, I suppose. Bob said something yesterday. He said some states have cool hats. I think he was looking at the convention.
Oh yeah.
So some states have cool hats. There's cheese for Wisconsin. There's corn for Iowa, and maybe California should be a stolen shopping cart. Right? If I was really good at this, I'd start the show there, but I'm not. I'm going to hit this audio, and then we're going to start the show because that's the way we normally do it.
Your stepdad's wife, super bad. Walk in the house, she's wearing something skimpy. She comes on to you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Dogging that bitch.
You're dogging stepdad's
Dogging
wife?
stepdad's wife all the way.
Really?
All the way.
Your stepdad.
Y'all let me in this damn house.
Should we hit record?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
All right, you ready?
I am ready. Are you recording?
Yes. All right. Well, you want to start a show?
Let's start a show.
That podcast is filling your head with garbage.
No offense taken there.
Well, it sounds like none taken.
Ask your mama, she'll say the same thing. I got all the ways, I just ain't got the means. Boom.
To episode number 394 of Not Taken Headlines Edition, where every week my good friend Alan wrangles up the headlines from all over the internet. We talk them at you because, I don't mean to brag, but I listen to 13 hours of podcasts a day, and Alan watches 3 hours of cable news. That's why you value our opinions. Put you through all that content. We come on here and we talk them at you. And now, get ready to take a sledgehammer to the culture war echo chambers. But first...
So, another Friday is upon us. What'll you be doing, Smithers? Something gay, no doubt. What? You know, lighthearted, fancy-free. Mothers, lock up your daughters. Smithers is on the town.
Exactly, sir.
Exactly, sir. Be a mensch and head on over to nonetakenpod.com. What you can do there is you can buy this shirt. It says Culture War Veteran.
Yeah.
Culture War Veteran. Join that. Of course, if you can see this, then you're already in the Patreon. If you're in the Patreon, if you're not, if you didn't see what we showed you in the video, that's your cue to also go to nonetakenpod.com. Join the Patreon. It starts at $3 a month. You can join at $9 a month. You can join at $18 a month. That's just showing us how much you love us. At any level that you join us there, you get access to all of our videos. Every show we do has a video for it. Every show we do has a hidden track before it where we either go through some clips or like today, for example, we didn't talk about the DNC much on the big show. We're going to talk about it briefly on this one. We played a bunch of highlights and recaps of that there. We're not going to wait till next week to recap that in our audio show. There's other things. Oh, we finished. You got to join the Patreon for the thrilling conclusion of Woodrow Trilson's script, Hallmark, a co-ed pregame special. You'll find out what happened with Sarah and Greg and the 2024 Motor Trend Truck of the Year Ford Maverick, and maybe one more 9/11 reference.
It was a lot of fun. That was a
All
lot
of
of fun.
that is waiting for you over at nonetakenpod.com.
Yep.
And Alan, what else can they do there?
Also, just if you join at the $18 level, Dustin will send you one of those Culture War veteran shirts that you showed earlier. We got lots of other merch over there. Obviously, the Patreon, all our socials are over there. Everything you need, None Taken, your RSS feeds, all that stuff is over there. NoneTakenPod.com for all your None Taken.
There's one other thing to do there.
Yes, for all your None Taken stuff. Don't forget to support the people that support us. SlicketsDigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs.
And you can remember Slickets Digital, as in Ryan Ricketts, the guy that came to the wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a little linky thing at the bottom of NoneTakenPod.com.
It should just say wedding attendant Ryan Ricketts.
Yes, Dustin.
All
yes,
right.
he was there.
All right, Alan. What is up?
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. The weekend's here. Have a can of beer.
I got two of them for you. Do a couple
Hell yeah.
equalizers.
We made it to another weekend. So let's get into some headlines, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz formally accepted the Democratic nomination for vice president in a speech on day 3 of the DNC. That was yesterday. He broke out his football coach isms. You know, let's leave it all on the field. Yeah, let's leave it all on the field. Let's go.
Like it's the fourth quarter, we're running out of time, but we got the ball.
Yeah, he broke out his Midwestern charm. He talked about your neighbor's your neighbor, regardless of whether or not they worship, pray like you or love like you. They're still your neighbor.
But the one thing we care about is to just love them enough to let them do their own thing. If you disagree.
Yeah. So I thought it was a really good speech. I thought he came across pretty well.
Who didn't come across very well?
Who's that?
Ann Coulter.
Oh, imagine that. Her not
or was it Conway? Was it Kellyanne Conway? I get them confused. I
can see why.
I get my old dried up Republican broads confused. What? They're both in like political marriages too. She's married to the Raging Cajun. Kellyanne's married to George Conway, who we talked about in our Vince Foster rant on the last show. But did you see what she said?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, do you remember? So at the end of his speech, Tim Walz's son, who I don't like that they listed off his like neuroatypicality with ADHD.
Yeah.
And they also said that he like is nonverbal. It's like, I think that goes, I feel like that is more inhibiting than the ADHD. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? But anyways, so the son has special needs in some way, right?
Yeah.
He like stood up and made some weird gestures.
He reacted to his dad up on stage.
When you don't speak, I guess, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Kellyanne or Ann Coulter goes, talk about weird on Twitter. Shared that photo. It's just like anybody who saw that video for the first time was like, the like lizard brain reacts like, hey, look at this kid. Let's go pick on him. And then like the clutch engages and you go into gear and you go, no, that's a shitty person thing to do. Like, I'm not guilty of having the thought. I didn't take the picture, open up Twitter, post it, add a comment, and then not delete it 30 seconds later.
Yeah. I mean, and that's clearly a kid who was excited about his dad.
Of course.
And that's evidence of a good relationship.
You look like a bitch. I'm sorry. You look like, you know what you look like? You know what you look like, Alan? You look like a real cunt.
You do. You do. It's a bad take. It's a bad take.
Yeah.
All right. You want to hit this next one?
Sure. President Biden reportedly approved we talked about this on the big show a little bit. I'm glad we talked about it in passing, so it's not like we didn't cover it. But I'm glad we get a chance to talk about it more here. President Biden reportedly approved a new nuclear strategy or reorienting. They're going to say Orient and China in the same sentence. They're 2 words apart there, Alan.
It's not the preferred nomenclature, dude.
No. The new nuclear strategy reoriented towards China's growing nuclear arsenal and potential coordination between China, Russia, and North Korea, per a New York Times report. This happened in March, by the way.
Yes, this happened in March, and it was so classified that there's no digital versions of it. It was only a few hard copies of the document that were released. And we've only recently heard about it because various spokespeople have been allowed to say a very small sentence or two about its existence.
So when I hear it dismissed as this is a deterrence posture, this is for defense, this is, hey, we feel like we need to be prepared to withstand an attack from 3 adversaries. When I hear that, that's a lot of speculation then, because you're telling me notes have been leaked by a couple of people.
literally like a sentence or two in a speech about it.
Why is there so much commentary dismissing
Well,
it, downplaying it?
I think it's concerning because a lot of us, I think, live under the
Rock.
under the rock where we pretend like there aren't nuclear subs roaming around the ocean with like hundreds of nuclear missiles on them at all times from multiple countries. And that's a scary thing to think about it. And most people don't want to.
You know what beats a nuclear sub?
What's that?
A nuclear top.
Nuclear dong.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what you meant. So I think, and I completely get that. I understand why most people don't want to think about that. Now,
cover art for nuclear sub.
Oh,
I'll think of something.
Biden will address Congress at some point via letter or speech with more details.
Well, because they talked about this. They said, like, well, just so you know, these things happen like every 4 years, typically every president. And I do remember when this happened with Trump, and I remember it being like not classified.
So eventually they do release the information. There are still classified parts of it, I'm sure.
About this earlier than
right, because they've leaked a little bit, but they leaked it on purpose.
Okay.
So they were those people that had those sentences in their speech were given clearance to do that.
Wow.
So really the concern, I think, as you already sort of detailed, is that, look,
why are they trying to ease it in?
I mean, you always want to ease it in, Dustin. It's better to.
Some people don't like that.
So the real concern is that the cooperation that we're seeing between China and Russia is a little bit unprecedented, and the speed with which China,
not to mention North Korea, bad Korea.
Yes, and the speed with which China has upgraded its nuclear arsenal, is faster than our defense and intelligence agencies predicted. Okay. So we had to pivot a little bit here. Pivot. So that's what's happening there, and we should get more information in the near future. I guess it's my turn.
Is it alarming?
I mean,
I don't feel alarmed by it, but I feel like maybe we're just numb to this shit at this point.
I think I said that when we talked about the potential for Russia having the nuclear satellite, where it's just like, man, I can't just go about my day and have that thought in the back of my head. It's always there. And like I said, the nuclear subs, the fact that those missiles can go off so fast, they're hypersonic at this point. The fact that if let's say North Korea,
they're sneaky too. The Chinese ones especially, they're sneaky. You know what I mean?
If Kim Jong-un went rogue and
decided, if he went rogue, okay, all right, I'm listening. If all of a sudden Kim Jong-un goes rogue, okay,
more rogue than he already is.
Is it Un or Il? Was that Il? Was the old one, right? It's Un now. I think it's Un. Which one says "fuck you, Hans Blix"?
It might be Il now. Anyways, if Kim says "fuck it," I'm throwing ICBMs, nuclear armed ICBMs at.
I took a shit before the show. I saw a few BMs, Alan. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. If he says "fuck it," I'm throwing these at Guam, and we see that, and we decide to return fire with our own nukes. Guess what? They fly over Russian. They fly over Russian airspace to get to North Korea, and Russia's
ours go from okay.
And Russia's technology.
We need to be coordinated.
Russia's technology for identifying whether that strike is an attack on them or North Korea sucks.
Right. Well, they also think clouds are too.
So. Sure. So I mean, that's like, anybody trust Kim to like be rational? No, it's fucking. So it's a scary thing to think about. It's just,
I have a theory that all Kims are sluts.
Is that from personal experience?
Yes, but I've said it to people before, and they've noticed the habit. Maybe this is an early 2000s thing. You don't meet a lot of Kims anymore. Who's naming their kid Kimberly?
Yeah, you don't.
I hope Mike Harrington doesn't listen to this. That's his wife's name.
Oof.
That was my aunt's name, and I said this to my uncle once, not the one married to her, another uncle, and I hadn't connected that. And he's like, "Well, your uncle's on this vacation. You're going to say that in front of his wife?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck." And then they got divorced a couple of years later. And I never heard why. So maybe,
perhaps.
Man, how much family listens to the show? Am I really pushing the envelope here?
You're going pretty hard. Perhaps we should move on. Russia said it shot down 11 Ukrainian drones targeting Moscow.
Is that a lot? Whoa, really?
Yeah, the largest such attack targeting the capital city. And there were 35 drones in other areas. So it feels
35
like
cheeseburgers, 35 fries, 35.
Ukraine is definitely trying to go more on the offensive, and we're seeing that. But in response, Russia fired some missiles into Kyiv, so that's still happening.
War's starting to look fair at this point, actually. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Not-
it's
No.
really bad in the Donbass. It's really bad.
well, it's been bad in the Donbass for 10 years now.
Too. You want to hit this next
No,
one?
it's been bad in the Donbass since 2014. How dare you?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Two. Whole war was because they're like, look at all these Nazis here that are here fighting for Ukraine. Look at Zelensky. He's killing his own people. It's like because you created a separatist division, then like
Yeah.
dumb. Okay. All right. Zelensky.
No, 4.
Ukraine ordered the evacuation of its eastern city of Pokrovsk. That's all the vowels and consonants in order. Amid nearing Russian forces. While Ukraine is continuing its offensive in Russia's Kursk region. Alan has said the words. Can you comment on that? I didn't know that.
So this is concerning. Russia is taking further and further territory on the eastern Ukraine, and as they get closer to these cities that are now within range of their artillery, they have to take the people out of there because now they're in harm's way. So
wouldn't Ukraine be setting up a situation where they'd say, if you guys stop doing that, we'll give you back Kursk?
Potentially. In fact, this next one. So President Zelensky finally clarified. He said that Ukraine's incursion into Russia's Kursk region seeks to create a buffer zone, clearly stating the effort's goal for the first time. So he's saying, look, we're just trying to create a buffer so that the cities that we have on the border aren't at risk from Russia's artillery or other weapons. And so Russia's saying they're doing the same thing, that they're creating a buffer for their border cities, and that's why they're doing what they're doing in the east. But yeah, so
there's
that's
going to be a DMZ.
potentially.
That would be like a good outcome.
I was going to say that might almost be best case scenario.
Yeah, right.
I mean, potentially.
Or we could just do this forever. That would be fun too. As long as we don't have nukes, I guess, no, I'm not serious about that. I'm sorry. That was a nihilistic approach.
Yeah.
FBI?
Yes.
The FBI, ODNI. What the fuck's an ODNI?
National Intelligence Office.
Digital.
Yeah, National Intelligence, whatever.
All right.
They're intelligence agencies.
The ODNI. God, we got too many of these. And CISA, CISA.
That's a cybersecurity one, yeah.
Concluded that Iran was responsible for the recent hack of the Trump campaign and that Iran has targeted both campaigns.
So that had already been out there in the ether.
Sorry, Iran.
Yes, that had already been out there in the ether, but this is now intelligence agencies confirming that. I think everybody that was paying attention to this knew essentially that it was Iran that was behind this. Interestingly, the data that they leaked to, I think, the Post and the Hill, both of those agencies have not released it. They've decided they're not going to publish it. So kind of interesting that they hacked it, and then the news agencies were like, no, we're not going to release that.
Isn't the flow of that in our modern leaking economy a marketplace?
Mm-hmm.
That you start off with the most prestigious news agencies, and then you move down the ladder to like your
but
Examiner,
this is
no offense.
But this has happened, what, 3-4 weeks ago at this point?
2.
It seems like they would have done that already if they were going to. So, I mean, it's not like it takes a lot of effort to push a button to send that PDF to somebody.
Right. Well, if they're officially, I mean, they didn't really officially say they're not gonna. It sounds like they're taking their time with
They
it.
still could,
Yeah.
but you'd think if they wanted to have the maximum impact on the election.
Was it nothing of value?
Unknown.
I mean, didn't we see some things? I thought some stuff got
The only
leaked.
thing that was released was that it was the Oppo research on JD Vance by the Trump campaign, and then internal emails of Roger Stone and others associated with the Trump campaign. That's all we know. So whether it's just that there's nothing much there, I imagine there's probably some interesting stuff there, but we just don't know.
Okay. Is that where we got the JD Vance in drag stuff?
No, I think that came from social media.
Somebody
posts.
found that anyways.
Yeah.
Did I ever ask you what his drag name should be?
I don't think you did.
Oh, did you have an idea, or should I give the Twitter answer?
the Vancinator. I don't know. What's the Twitter answer?
Ashley Furniture. It's so fun to talk to you about this stuff because I think that's a little old on Twitter by now, but like that's
But I'm out of the loop, so I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
That's very funny.
I thought so. Yeah.
All right.
It's-
Libya's central bank suspended operations after its IT
Something
director
going wrong with the economy in Libya, Alan?
after its IT director was abducted in the nation's capital. Yeah. And this follows a week prior where armed gunmen surrounded the central bank and demanded that the chairman or whatever step down, which they didn't do. So here's the thing. It's funny you say that there's a problem with the economy in Libya. So actually, Libya has the most oil reserves of any country in Africa. And with the rise in oil prices in the last couple of years because of the Ukraine war, they've actually been doing relatively well. The problem is that there is a 51% unemployment rate of the youth of that country.
The youth,
Obviously, two youths, Yana. And obviously that leads to unrest, political unrest. And there is a lot of anger among the populace about that, the way the government is spending that windfall of money. And really it's just going to the elites and leaving out, the lower income people.
political unrest in Libya?
Weird, I know.
Why isn't Gaddafi holding
So,
all that down?
and
Is Gaddafi not there anymore, Alan?
No, they cut off.
Oh,
his
well,
balls,
hopefully
right?
he died pleasantly in his sleep.
Yeah, no, it was in a ditch.
Also, it was in a ditch. Okay, well, hopefully, he was like shot in the head, died quick.
Nah,
It wasn't the other end of the body, was it? Okay.
It's like, yeah. Things to do in Denver when you're dead. What is that
That's a
thing?
good movie. Yeah.
What's it called? Oh, Buckwheat. I think it's called Buckwheat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they've been in sort of a civil war since like 2014. There's the eastern side, which is like where Parliament is, and the western side, where is sort of the internationally recognized head of government. And they've sort of come to a bit of a ceasefire where they're not really fighting with each other as much, but they're still divided country. So a lot of problems in Libya. And this is just wild that they would just fucking abduct the dude. This is like the head of their
so what's their point? That fuck the Fed basically? Like
essentially, yes.
Odds with these people. Has their interest rate been managed poorly, and they want to just go back to having markets decide? Like, am I to believe that these are Austrian terrorists?
I don't know how. I don't know their level of economic education.
Okay.
But yes, they're not happy with the way the government is managing.
Well, at least they properly identified the issue.
Did
I say the wrong thing?
I mean, if you're going to go after a part of the government that you're not happy with, that's
just like we say, outside of these cults of personality, presidents are largely unconsequential unless they have a Dick Cheney behind them. But yeah, if you want to go after the people that are causing, it's like I always say, I can't believe these judges aren't getting assassinated. I'm not encouraging anybody. I just can't believe it. Like,
yeah, we don't
like
advocate violence.
it's literally you put a termination point on their career, and that's one of the only parts of government that has a termination point that the citizens can directly affect by one person. You vote, you're one of the millions, but you can really make your opinion heard on a life term. With this, it's weird they put that. It's like a bounty almost.
It's a very unique position in government for the U.S. Yes, that's yeah.
Okay,
all right, let's move.
Stop.
Yeah, let's move on. You're up 8.
Dear. Okay, 8. George Santos.
No, that's 9.
Oh, I forgot how to count. Sweden. After I talked about the Swede so poorly on our Wednesday show, Sweden confirmed the first case of a more contagious variant of Mpox, used to be called monkeypox. That's like Twitter, formerly X, formerly known as Twitter. Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, to appear outside of Africa. So it's the first contagious variant, more contagious variant, with more intercontinental cases expected to appear. Thailand confirmed Asia's first known case of a new Mpox strain stemming from an outbreak in Africa that has been declared a global health emergency. I'm starting to get anxiety reading those out loud in order. However, I do remember learning that and remembering that we have a cure for smallpox, which mostly covers this. Maybe we don't have good quantities of that. We should have been doing that for years, but this isn't a complete novel respiratory virus like
like
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah. So a couple things.
Last
So
time I checked, it still requires like body to body contact and like
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, close contact. So this is the 1B clade, I think it's called.
Light-hearted, fancy-free.
Sorry, that's what I.
Which is the more deadly version. Now, to quantify more deadly, currently 4% of cases end in death. So 4 people out of 100 that get this die. It is much worse for children and people with autoimmune diseases.
They give you 4 people out of 100 to make it sound okay, but 1 in 25 sounds worse, right?
It does. It
Okay.
does. Sure.
That's like a classroom size.
Right. So yeah, children and people with autoimmune diseases are far more at risk. And it's concerning because we are seeing it start to, so it's primarily found in Central and Eastern Africa, more like jungle regions like the Congo, etc. But now we're seeing it sort of jump to other places internationally. And so that is concerning. But as you said, it is a close relative to smallpox, which we already have a vaccine for. And actually the older population, at least
I think over 45 has it, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if I had a smallpox vaccine.
I'm not sure if I do either.
Ask my mother.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
don't.
text my mom.
Do you think she'll remember?
She's my mom. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think.
Well, let's make her worry about this then. That's the other upside.
So we do have treatments that can work for it, as well as the smallpox vaccine largely covers it. So it's not as crazy as it could be. All right. While you text your mom, I'll hit the next one. Former Representative George Santos of New York pleaded guilty to wire fraud and identity theft charges.
sir.
Sorry. He's gay.
tied to Jesus, that's
Something gay, no doubt.
That's not okay.
it's not relevant to the story, but okay. Tied to his campaign and could face 6 to 8 years in prison. So this was a deal. He actually was facing 23 different charges. He pled.
Would you start your OnlyFans right before you went to prison?
Definitely.
Okay.
And then once you're in prison, you get a little bit more. That gives you some hotness cred, right?
I feel like that might get more of a target. Like what if those
Oh.
people had found out about you and got all worked up from your teasing videos, your thirst traps, and then yeah.
I mean, given.
You think you might find protection and then someone like who to partner up with?
He might.
Are you insinuating gay gangsta? Is that what you're afraid of saying?
No, I'm saying he might enjoy the attention, perhaps. He seems like a kind of guy that would.
I like
enjoy
thinking of some guy walking up and being like, "What's up, Holmes? What's up, Holmes?"
like that.
Yeah, just kisses. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so he also had to pay a bunch of fines, and part of the. So I hate to take glee in somebody's demise, but this guy fucking, he deserves all he's getting and more. This guy was just a complete. The stuff that he did, the people he fucked over, the guy with the sick dog, all that shit. This guy's an asshole. All right, so fuck him. So part of the deal, they were talking about how he's going to pay these fines, and the prosecutors are like, "Hey, we need this money the next 30 days." It's like. One fine's like $300,000 and one's like $200,000 or something like that. And his lawyers are like, look, he just doesn't have the money right now. So we'll have to figure that out. We don't want to blow up the deal, but like right now, we're not going to say that he can give you that money in the time frame you're suggesting.
Are we talking about Alex Jones? I forgot I was texting.
No, similar. So the article describes it at that point in the trial that Santos like puts his head in his hands and he's like, he's distraught apparently. But fuck him, he deserves to be distraught. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
There was ways that this could have ended better for him, and he just thought he could lie until it wouldn't.
Yeah,
like dude, it's always worked for Trump, but that is so incredibly rare. Bobby Petrino, the football coach, he just lied everywhere until all of a sudden he was in a ditch, crashed his motorcycle with his girlfriend on his back, and who was also dating the strength and conditioning coach, and of course he was married. And he just all of a sudden he was like, well, now I have to lie to the cops, and that's actually a little too far, even for me. I mean, this guy's like, no, like I'll go further. Oh shit, look what happened. I can't believe it. Of course, like this, like do not use Trump as your example. This won't work for you. Like he is apparently very exceptional in that regard.
So it would seem. All right, you want to hit number 10?
Yeah. 5 people, including 2 doctors, an assistant, and an alleged drug dealer, were charged in connection with the Friends actor Matthew Perry's overdose death. Could I read that any poorer?
Yeah. So one of the people involved here is called the Ketamine Queen.
Shut up.
They found like bags, like a ton of like drugs at her house, and she was working with these doctors to supply Matthew Perry with this stuff. There's text exchanges which we have in the documents for this case, wherein they talk about Perry and saying, I don't remember the exact quote, but essentially, how much is this fucking loser gonna pay for these drugs? Like they were really shitty about it, and it's really shitty that he died in that manner. But these people were absolutely just, they're parasites.
Matt parasites.
There you go. Yeah. They were parasites. And I mean, similar to the people that were supplying Michael Jackson with drugs, there's other celebrities in similar situations.
Elvis.
Yeah, sure. It sucks, man. It sucks. At least they're being held to account. So there's that.
Interesting. So do we have a trial date or anything like that yet? Or is that still a ways off?
I think it's still a ways off.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Disney argued. Oh, good. Oh, wait, your turn.
Oh, yeah. Disney argued in part that a theme park guest cannot sue over his wife's death at one of its restaurants due to terms agreed to for a Disney Plus streaming trial.
Everybody sent that into the show account.
Okay, so a couple of things. So the headline is a little bit misleading. It is not Disney's restaurant where this happened. The restaurant's
like downtown Disney or something.
It was at their theme park, but it wasn't. They don't own and operate the restaurant.
It was like so
something like that. Yeah. And so what happened was
that guy, that Prigozhin's old catering company.
Yeah, totally. So the family went to the restaurant. They told the server that the wife had these allergies, and they were assured by the server that no, there was no potential danger. They ate the dinner. Next thing you know, the wife's in the hospital and she dies. So now they are suing. The family is suing the restaurant, and Disney is connected because the property was on Disney's property. So Disney is saying, look, this dude accepted the TOS on Disney Plus, and that says if you have an issue with us, it has to go to arbitration. We don't go to court.
I thought you said that this was being exaggerated.
No, what I'm saying is the part that's just misleading about the headline is that it says one of its restaurants. It's not a Disney-owned restaurant.
So they're suing Disney?
I'm sorry?
They're suing Disney?
Disney is part, so they're suing Disney and
the restaurant. And Disney's like, hey, fuck off, man. We got
you signed the TOS, bro. It's arbitration.
They backed off from this.
They also said that when you purchase the tickets, there's a similar clause where you have to click the box to say I agree to buy the tickets. That's
your lawyer should have checked if this was supposed to go to arbitration before you sued me.
Right. Yes. So just all in all.
So the update was, I saw it today, they backed away from that a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. Guess how much they're suing for?
$400 million.
$50,000.
Hospital bills, dead wife.
Do you think the bad press that Disney is getting for this is worth more than $50,000? I absolutely think so. Like, what the fuck, man? Just pay the $50,000 and move the fuck on.
Wow.
Like,
that's, you know what? That's why the hot coffee case makes sense. Remember the whole hot coffee case from the 80s? No, it wasn't that. It was that initially she wanted a regular settlement. Like, I don't know, a few $100s. Lawyer talks her into some thousands. They, dismiss every attempt where they reached out to them.
They could have settled it.
Yeah. And then it ended up being dude, why are you being such a cunt?
Right. Now we're going to push this as far as we can go. Yeah.
I was very old when I found out the truth about that, because that was always such a punchline in our life. These people got sued because their coffee was too hot.
I do. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Your turn, I think. No, my turn. U.S. government report concluded with moderate confidence. Let's talk about some touchy stuff here. You start talking about fluoride in the water.
Yes.
U.S. government report concluded with moderate confidence that fluoride exposures above twice the U.S. recommended level is linked to lower IQ in kids.
Isn't that?
Atlanta didn't never burn.
Atlanta was a false flag operation.
Yeah. This was a study conducted over many years over the multiple countries. The U.S. not being one of them, interestingly, but like China, Canada, I think some
China's
places in Europe. And so it's unclear if there are similar impacts to adults, but what the study found was that there were a few IQ points lower in kids who were exposed to a pretty high level of fluoride. So for a long time, it's like, I want to say it's like 1.5.
Here is more than double.
Yeah. So what the WHO has recommended for a long time is the World Health Organization has recommended. Why is that funny?
Because it's WHO.
Okay. What did I say?
I was just asking if that's what it's spelled.
Oh, okay. All right. I get jokes. Okay.
We've done this before.
We have done this before. All right. So it's like 1.5 grams per
parts per million, something like that.
Yeah. And so they recommended that for a very long time. And the study found that levels above that were problematic. Levels at that level or below or not. Now, fluoride is naturally occurring in a lot of water supplies throughout this country. However, after studies showed that fluoride was helpful in reducing tooth decay over time, and the way they found that out was because people living in areas that had naturally more fluoride in their tap water got less cavities. And they're like, oh, there's a correlation here. So then what they did is they started adding fluoride to water in places that didn't have naturally occurring fluoride. So I think Michigan was one of the first places to do it. But they were adding it at this level that was recommended by the WHO, which this study finds acceptable. However, there are places where you have double or even more than that recommended amount in the water supply just naturally. And that is where they're saying that could be problematic and they need to fix that. So, and also moderately confident is not supremely confident. So there's that as well.
Oh, it sounds, yeah. It's also vague that it's more than double. So they're saying sometimes it's a lot more, and of course, more is too much.
Yeah, and also
moderation, like my dad used to say before he drank too much.
Including moderation, yeah. And it's like 2 or 3 points of IQ, and IQ is its own controversial topic as well.
It's 2 or 3 points, so it's not. Yeah,
it's not super
Didn't
significant.
fluoride in the water start when some guy was like, "I got way too much fluoride." It's like, well, you should try telling people we should put it in the water. Or is that the origin of the conspiracy?
Oh, I don't know that.
Like I remember learning that history, but I don't remember how well I can trust the source. But
I can see that somebody capitalizing on their.
Yeah, I mean that's how a lot of things took.
That's how a lot of things happen. Yeah.
And last time I asked the audience for feedback, I found out that people do, in fact, Joey, for example, Joey in Houston. You're covered here. That's ambiguous. Joey from Houston, for example, pees out the pant leg at the ocean. So it wasn't a weird thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, so if the fluoride thing, if that's how it, that's like they had a lot of brown diamonds, so suddenly they started marketing chocolate diamonds.
Yeah,
that was a thing that it's a similar type.
It's like I thought we cared about the clarity on this. Like,
no, they're chocolate. That's cool. Yeah, that was just a marketing.
Seems
just a marketing tactic.
That's clear. Yeah. And you know what? Don't taste like chocolate.
No,
hurts coming out.
Actually, also really bad for your teeth.
Teeth.
Dentists do not recommend you.
They never dissolve, no matter how much you suck it. Don't. The U.S. economy. Your turn. 13. It's not number.
The U.S. economy added 818,000 fewer jobs than the.
What's the difference between fewer and less? Am I supposed to correct you on this one? It's fewer jobs. It's not less. Less would be like a fluid.
Doesn't that just seem like a synonym? I don't know.
It's not. One is the one for when it's like an enumerated value. Like if you can change the number, if you can take individual.
Oh, I think it's fewer in this sentence. I think it's fewer, not less.
It's individual parts that it's fewer.
I think it's because it's revising an initial number.
But if it's like a measurement, okay. Right.
So it's fewer than the 2.9 million initially reported.
Yeah, but that could also be less. But that less is something where it's like a complete cake and you take some out of it, there's now less cake. But if you cut it into 10 pieces and you took 2 out, there's 2 fewer. That was actually the perfect way to explain it, and I get it now. I'm going to remember the cake story. Actually, cherry pie. Now I won't forget. Oh boy, I saw some cherry pie at Belmont today. I was like, no, not for a long time. No,
Did the Warrant song play in your head, or
it's just traumatic, too traumatic.
well, you don't get the Warrant reference? Fine.
I didn't.
Um,
No, she's my cherry pie. Yeah, I thought that was Motley Crue. Thank you. Love that song.
So fewer than the 2.9 million initially reported in the 12-month period ending March
That's a
20.
big deal. Trump made a whole thing about it, saying it's a scandal, and it's over 100,000 jobs per month, and they've been lying the whole time. It's not a scandal. It's something that happens all the time. That
Yes.
said, it hasn't been this bad since like when? Like 2000.
2000, early 2000s. I don't remember the exact year. I think it was I thought 2004, but I could be wrong. But yeah, numbers get revised up and down all the time. This was a significant revision. I guess
It was the biggest since 2009. Tell me
okay.
if there was anything significant in the economy in 2000.
Oh, there was some stuff happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How are
I
they
guess-
covering for this so much? Why didn't the market freak out over this the way they did the last bad jobs number? This one seems worse.
because this just seems to make it more likely the Fed's going to cut rates.
And then when they don't, they're going to be. Real
I
upset.
think they will. I think they will.
Oh,
And we're actually seeing actually this next headline. I'll talk about that after you hit this.
I'll hit it. Existing home sales rose 1.3% in July, making the first gain in 4 months on an annual basis. Oh, I'm reading this. Oh, on an annual basis, sales are down 2.5%, while inventory is up nearly 20.
All right. So when it says they rose 1.3% in July, they're comparing July to June, the month before it.
Okay, month over month. But
Yeah.
dude, that inventory to sales
that's a good-
decline, that's a good thing if you're about to drop rates.
Yes.
Because people are like, I am so fucking ready. Let me do it.
Okay. Go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's what
Oh.
people are saying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
People are like the second you drop it, I'm ready to buy.
And
But-
actually, mortgage rates are the lowest they've been since 2022 or 23, I think, right now. Because they were at 7% very recently, and they're now below.
Yeah, I
that.
saw a thing today. It was like 4.5% guaranteed, and and like a guaranteed closing cost rate. And I just remember seeing that while I was driving today. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better. So that including, and if you factor in the likelihood of the Fed cutting rates, only good things, as well as what they're proposing to do for even adding more housing supply. I think that could be beneficial. All right. A federal judge in Texas blocked the FTC's recently approved ban on non-compete agreements, ruling that
Nashville's thrilled.
ruling that it lacked authority to issue the ban. This judge had already ruled that way, but this made it more permanent and nationwide as opposed to just local. There was a lot of, I read some people like professors, econ professors or law professors who deal with this type of law, who kind of projected that this likely wouldn't stand under legal scrutiny, just that the FTC they didn't really think that FTC could do this.
I
And
saw
that
the
there
FTC said we're strongly considering an appeal. It's like strongly considering. That doesn't sound like a commitment.
Well, and I don't remember which university they were from, but a law professor said that, essentially this is way too broad of a statement, and there are industries that there are good reasons for them to have these sort of non-competes.
So if they can narrow it down, they could do it.
Yeah. So if they would try to do it in a less broad
Is there a
fashion,
mechanism for this to be whittled down, or does they just write it again?
and I think they'd have to do it over. But the professor did seem to indicate that he thought that was something that could be done.
Okay.
Yeah. But just there are industries.
Yes, exactly. Like hairdressers. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
they have it in my trade, and like, I get it. Like, you pay for people to learn on the job, or they learn from you. I mean, knowledge deserves to be shared, especially when it's in that manner. Like that.
Well, what the law professor was specifying was industries wherein you have things like corporate secrets or corporate information that is very specific to that industry.
Right. That's not the same as being like, we trained you how to fix these machines. You can't work for anyone who works on machines.
Or start your own business doing
Right.
that.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like that's the entire American dream.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I think it makes sense.
Because like, sorry, I'm not gonna, it's not my intention. I don't believe, but like, if you learn and then you're making the company a shitload of money while you're doing that. You're an ideal employee. Just because they think they can go make money for themselves doesn't mean that you didn't make money off of them while they work for you. If you can prove that the investment is like way over significant than the profits they made, maybe there's a story to be told. But do you really want to go through all that litigation every time somebody quits?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of industries where it doesn't make any sense for them to have non-competes.
I can imagine plenty where it is.
Yeah. So can I. But I
That should
think
be the example, though.
overall, if you want to look at this from a macro level, what's better for the economy, it would be best if people were allowed to compete in industries where it's not such a problem.
And you can get yourself a special status if you prove it to a judge.
Yeah.
Once you get the equivalent of a concealed carry for a company to do that, and if you get that and you get hired and that company has that special status, you can't do that. And maybe you'll go get a job somewhere else, right? That would be a more realistic economy or market than just saying, nope, none of that, can't do this entire action.
Yep. Agree. All right. You want to hit this next one?
This is what I've grown into from my libertarian days. Like I can see a version of regulation here that would be good. Problem is I don't trust these people to make it. Marjorie Taylor Greens,
Yeah.
All right. Canada. Canada's two largest railways paused freight rail services amid a dispute between union workers in a move that could disrupt North America's supply chain. So this is also the time that like wheat's going on, grains in general are being harvested and distributed. So things left to sit in a silo. Things aren't going to get to market essentially, like that.
And we do a lot of trade with Canada. Even things like auto parts and things like that come from, a lot of that is manufactured up there. So this is a big deal. Trudeau has refused to force these unions and companies to go into arbitration, unlike what Biden did when we had a similar issue with rail in the US. And I think Trudeau is doing a better job about that. But this could be a real big problem. Now, these companies anticipated this happening. I think it kicked over at midnight last night, actually, is when it went into effect.
Yeah, I heard it this morning.
But they had already started halting like hazardous chemicals and stuff being transported via rail because
they wouldn't just stop where they stayed that night.
They wouldn't just get stuck en route to wherever they were going. So, I mean, potentially this could have serious effects on supply chains here. And
are there non-union transports? Yeah, this is the two largest ones. So there's other.
But these are massive. It's pretty much the whole thing.
We know Canada's like 4 roads and like a series of trains, and that's like miles.
And the other issue is that a lot of commuter trains that aren't necessarily part of these companies or those unions, a lot of commuter trains use the same tracks and they can't run either because of this. And so a lot of commuters, people that use trains to get into the city or whatever from the burbs aren't going to have access to that until this is fixed.
Toaster, let us know what you think up there in Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know, Toaster. Anyway, so this could potentially be a really big deal. I mean, it already is.
No, it seems like it. Yeah, if you told me America's 2 major railway, it's not like, it's Canada. I mean, what are they, war criming up there? Like, they find some more Catholic schools where they dug up the Native American bodies in, or
yeah. All right. In other news,
did I just smear the Catholics for no reason? Wasn't it state schools?
It was state schools.
Okay.
Yeah. So you sent this one. This is a 14-year-old kid named Herman Bekele, who's from Virginia, and he was entered into a science competition. And his entry, the thing he came up with was a type of soap which uses a nanoparticle to convey medicine to the skin with these lipids that prevent it from washing away. Whoa. So in other words, it's a way to apply medicine to the the skin cancer infected area effectively, efficiently, cheaply, and have it stay in place. And so that's cool. It's a pretty big deal. He won a $25,000 prize for it. And it's not in production right now, but he did have a prototype. And so he plans to move forward with it and develop.
Look for a more expensive prize competition for that. $25K kind of sucks for that.
For a 14-year-old kid, man. Like, pretty cool.
Is that the scale you're going to give it? This is giving
It's a big deal.
You know,
It's a
we
big
gave
deal.
him
Oh, I'm sure he'll be able to monetize it in the future.
give him $100,000 Amazon gift card. That'd be a little bit better.
I think he's gonna.
Or do not cash the gift card.
I think he's gonna be just fine.
Right.
Yeah.
He
All
seems
right.
to be right. Okay. And then the Disney allergy death, but we talked about that.
We talked about that. So let's get into.
What are we doing on time here? This is insane.
Yeah, we're
Not even
not-
close to an hour and a half like we used to do here.
it's 90
That
minutes.
extra half hour, go join the Patreon. It's $3.
We'll still have
Here's-
90 minutes when we're done.
You think so? You think we're gonna have
Yeah.
30 minutes of game plus media diet?
Do we really do that much in the?
It's in 40 minutes. It's 50 minutes right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be a little over an hour then.
Okay.
All right, let's get into media.
Oh yeah, sorry.
All right, so I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this book because we didn't
Champing
have
horses champ at bits. Nobody chomps at bits. It's
champing at the.
Yeah.
I've been excited to talk to you about this for a
I'm
while.
sorry. Please tell me about what you're excited about. Don't let me pedantically correct you.
All right. So this book is called The Mountain and the Sea. It came out in late 2022. I think it came on my radar because it won some science fiction awards. I think it won like the Hugo Award and
Hugo.
Nebula. Anyways, so it is a really cool. I have so much. I'm trying to figure out how to get all of it out. All right. So this book is about
Sit down.
a sort of somewhat dystopic future, and there's all these different, like, the governments are all strangely different republics and things like that.
Still
but
Earth.
still Earth, yeah.
Okay.
It talks or it covers a lot of it looks at AI from different perspectives, and in one way, AI is super, like, almost a panacea in what it can accomplish and what it can do. And then it also looks at the negative impacts of AI and how things can.
This is timely.
Yeah, and how things can sort of just run away with themselves. It centers on a huge company that just has its hands in all kinds of things. Almost think of it like almost like an Amazon or something of that type.
Or Googies.
Yeah, or Googies, or something like that. And so it looks at it from different perspectives of how people interact with that company. There is also cephalopods, octopus.
Why are those there?
I'm not going to explain that.
Does it have anything?
However,
I don't like to eat them because they seem so smart.
yes.
Okay, cool.
And also people wanting to study that form of intelligence to incorporate it into AI.
Interesting. Oh my God.
Yeah. So really cool stuff with that.
And this is new?
Late 2022. So about a little
Really? Is this the one you said I need to read next?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, like, just some of the ways the author explores relationships and what technology does to relationships. There's a thing called a 0.5 that he talks about in the book, which I won't explain, but you'll know when you get there. And I was like, fuck, I think I'm a 0.5 to some people in my life.
Been a 0.5 before, Alan. It's not a good moment.
Yeah.
You gotta settle your mind down. It'll come back.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, just super. I would say that.
Oh, wait. This one's a better sound for that.
America is suffering from erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, remember?
That's not what the 0.5 is about.
I pulled a boner.
Anyways, if I hadn't just read Project Hail Mary, I would say this is the best book I've read this year.
Oh, wow.
I think
with some heavy hitters.
Yeah, I think this is very, like, to me, Project Hail Mary, and I'm excited to hear you talk about that.
Mhm.
To me, that's like a summer blockbuster movie. Like, that's like Will Smith and explosions and stuff like that. This is not that, but it is also science fiction, and it is supremely
This is
entertaining.
like Alien Prometheus.
Not even that.
More than that.
It's very cerebral. I would say it's more like Interstellar, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Murph.
But with the ocean instead of, space, and people. I think that actually the relationship aspects of it that it kind of deals with is really interesting and very subtly sort of interwoven into this huge story.
Okay, I
So,
love that. I mean, that's a huge part of Project Hail Mary too.
It is. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this book that you talked about in
Yeah.
ways that I hope to add to it, but not spoil anything. So, I heard the author talk about it in an interview where he was fine saying much of what I was afraid of you saying. And having
Okay.
read the book, I feel fine talking about it. So, it starts off with a guy waking up, and in the first chapter, finding out that he's in zero gravity, but he like deduces it. So that's fine. How you're learning who the character is.
Yeah.
He has amnesia, but he keeps like doing incredible, like just MacGyver,
Math.
big
math.
brain MacGyver
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
and figures out that he must be in space. So that's
Mhm.
the opening of it. And then it cuts back in time to perhaps like, well, it doesn't matter. It cuts back in time. And turns out that where it keeps cutting back in time is his life prior to waking up in space.
Right. He's remembering.
And
coming back.
you get the experience of how he solves the predicament that he's in while you're learning the backstory of how he ended up there.
Right.
In alternating chapters. And like you mentioned, the tones in the book make it
Mhm.
something that you could not have experienced while reading it. In fact,
Right.
I didn't even understand how they addressed that in the book. The relationships
Mhm.
of the there's a key relationship in it, and that could be, I'm not spoiling anything about the
Nope.
current part. There's plenty of past in this book, so
Yes.
fuck off. I'm not spoiling shit. The relationship that's developed, that is like the main relationship, is so powerful, like as
Yeah.
it just like blooms.
As it grows. Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of like the symbiosis that it's like great, and I can picture there's a scene in the book where the craft has to make a certain maneuver, and just the way that was described, I can picture it in my head. Like I can
Yeah.
see all the effects that they do for the movie, the like the wide shots they'd have for it, the intense close-ups on the character going through it, and just I can't wait to see this as a movie. I know it's already being made into a movie. I don't know when that's coming out, but yeah, I agree with you. Best sci-fi book I've read
It's amazing.
since Termination Shock. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Fantastic. I would recommend, if you have an Audible account and you have more than one in your credits, use it on this.
Yep.
Like if you burn through them every month, I'm not going to be able to persuade you. You have a list. You're going to go through your list. But I'm telling you, interrupt with this one. I don't like fiction. This got me. This grabbed me and brought
It's
me.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff.
Other than that, I've been watching The Sopranos over again.
How are you? Is it holding up?
Incredibly well.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah, did you watch it when it was on?
I did, but there were
Did you finish it?
I definitely saw the last episode, but I don't think I caught every
You weren't
episode.
caught up to date because I cut you off. You were probably going to say like there, it wasn't like now where you could just on demand,
Right. Yeah, you
watch
had to
the-
catch it Sunday night
or you had to go to Blockbuster once the box set came out and
Sure.
rent the CD pack or the DVD pack for those three, like, because you'd rent one and it had like 3 or 4 episodes on it.
Right.
Then you'd have to take it back to Blockbuster and get another one, or
Mhm.
use Netflix to get it to you, because you could do that for a while.
Yeah. There was
On
definitely
Netflix
parts of
DVD
seasons I
pack.
missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Right. Yeah, you couldn't
Yeah.
do that. So I watched it all the way through and I loved it. And I was like, Natasha, this started prestige television. Like there might be a few things you can point at, but like this is the Elvis of prestige television. Like, sure, you're
Yeah.
right, these people were doing that, but like this is what put prestige television on the map. And
It was before The Wire, I think,
I
right?
think I think it was right before The Wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think The Wire started in either 99 or 2000, and this was
Mhm.
98, which
Yeah.
it's also interesting to see New York pre 9/11 and New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
It's also nice to see that I was a little concerned because I had such a crush on Meadow Soprano.
Yeah.
And then I watched the pilot and I was like, oh, I can't tell Natasha that. And then like, halfway through that season, so much time had gone by that she was like 18 and we were like, oh,
Right.
or if not, it doesn't matter because I was 17 or 18 then. I was in
Sure.
high school when this all was coming
Yeah.
out. I remember watching this at my friend's house because they had HBO, but I'd
Mhm.
go there every Sunday and watch it. Yeah, it's been such a part of our culture, especially like, remember when there was like during that time period, 98, 99, 2000, even early 2000s, it was like, the meme where it's like, which way, young man, right?
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
go white man pretending to be Italian, white man pretending to be black. There was a lot of both of those. Eminem had a lot to do with one for
Yeah.
for sure. And The Sopranos had the other half of that cherry pie. I don't know. It's the best I could think of. I recently ate half a cherry pie. Can I give you a game? Can I present to you a game for the week?
Yeah, what you got?
I haven't had a game in a while. Haven't done a two show week in a while, Alan.
I know. It's been a while.
Feels good. Been a while.
It does.
I never found the
I am gay.
that's not it.
You know what you are? You're one of those little fancy lads, aren't you?
I don't know where it's been a while. I don't know where anything is on here. Luckily,
Berries
nobody-
and cream. Berries and cream.
I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream.
Learn to swallow.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, I found magnets.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets!
That was like at least a show ago, possibly last week.
I think it was. Yeah.
Change the color of that. What color are magnets, Alan?
Gray.
Okay, I'm gonna go with gray.
Yeah.
Your laundry is making the noise again.
I know. I heard it. It's gurgling over there.
I'll be the best sex you will ever have.
You said gurgling. I have a game.
Okay, do tell.
I have a history of murderers list. There's just three famous murderers, historical murderers.
Only 3. Okay.
Only 3. And you have to pick which one is best. So your answer is, I think this one is the best.
And what's my criteria to?
How many murders they completed?
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So, also this can be open book.
Oh, I can look.
Yeah, Google it. Google it.
Okay.
Google it. I've got Charles Manson. Now you might not have to Google that one, Alan.
Yeah, it wasn't that many, I don't think.
You're gonna lose right away if I don't do that. How many people did Charles Manson kill?
See if the
Alan, it's 0. I'm gonna save you the Google.
Oh yeah, he caused other people to kill, but
so
yeah.
I was looking forward to the opportunity to be able to say that.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I don't.
Go ahead and Google Whitey Bulger. Is
Oh,
it Bulger or Bulger?
I think it's Bulger.
Okay.
That was the Johnny Depp character, right?
Yeah, in Black Mass, right?
Yeah, Whitey.
Hey, speaking of 2013, isn't that when he died or was caught?
That sounds right.
That was the same year as in the pre-show we talked about the Boston Marathon. Well, we did it. Woodrow Charleston brought it up.
Yes.
How many people did Whitey Bulger kill?
Fucking new Google.
That sounds like something you shouldn't say.
Right.
1 hour, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm gonna beep that together really well. New Google. Alan.
Okay.
Alan, I already know this one. It was 8 or 11. Can't you just Google how many
No,
murders?
because Google sucks now.
Why
It doesn't tell you anything.
Is Google ruining our show?
I hate it so much.
Just search James Whitey Bulger.
I
And then you open the Wikipedia.
I'm at the Wikipedia.
Okay. There's a lot of words. There's a
Um,
lot of words here. Well, now we're blaming Wikipedia for us.
well, Google used to just tell you the answer, and
the
now
wiki-
it doesn't anymore.
It's like 8.
Okay, let's go with 8.
Well, now I need to be sure because I have to be able to judge this competition. I looked this up earlier today and it Googled on my phone just fine. Alan, use your phone.
Okay, let's see. I still had the text up from you with that picture.
Oh, that's a good picture. Whitey
alright.
Bulger murders.
3 inmates accused of killing Boston mob boss.
How many
Captured.
how many Whitey Bulger? How did I find this earlier? And this is a problem today.
I
thought
literally
we-
Googled how many people did James Whitey Bulger kill? That's what I Googled.
Okay.
And it gives me the Wikipedia, which doesn't at least have a clear answer in just scanning it. It gives me the let's try the mob museum. Let's see if
I've been there. It's in Old Vegas.
oh
That's right here. I typed in Whitey Bulger murders, which is what I said to type a long time ago.
okay,
Type
what'd
that
you
in.
find?
Well, I want to know if it's the same as mine here.
Okay, Why can't I? Oh, does Google just not work when you ask questions
Wrong
anymore?
words. Go to the Google bar. Type
Yes.
in Whitey Bulger murders. You write full questions like it's Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, that's how it used to work. It
You're
used to work fine.
my science and technology guy, Alan.
Oh, 11.
God damn it. The dumbest fucking game. How many people did the Zodiac Killer murder? But this is a fun game for listeners to be like, I already Googled this. How is Alan so bad?
I'm pretty sure he did
What's the name
more.
of this game, Alan? You're going to say which one is the best.
Which one is the best?
So you're going to say their name and they are the best based on who killed the more people. So is it Manson, Zodiac, or Whitey?
I'm gonna say Zodiac.
You're the worst. Google how many people the Zodiac Killer killed.
I did, and it's not telling me again.
We already learned this. Type Zodiac Killer murders.
I did that.
I'm going to do this for you again because this worked for me.
It just says
Zodiac
I'll
murders.
go to the Wikipedia. Maybe it'll say.
Bad, right here. Look, Zodiac murders 5. God,
Mine doesn't say that.
spell what you typed.
It's Zodiac, Zodiac, killer.
Look halfway through where it says no. 5 known victims. Do you see this?
No.
Show me your screen. Show it. Show it. Why?
It doesn't say
Get
it.
rid of killers.
Zodiac. I said killer.
Get rid of it.
Just Zodiac murders.
Yes, make it the same exact search as me.
I thought you
We're
said
doing
Zodiac
research.
killer.
I don't know what I told you. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, it still doesn't give me that answer.
I put Zodiac murders. Zodiac. Well, look at this. Hold on.
Okay, mine doesn't say that.
That's insane.
It's fucking weird, dude.
Wow.
I've been so mad at Google recently. I think I motherfucked him on the show a couple times in the last.
I can't believe what we just proved by accident. Here I am just trying to have you say, Alan, you need to say this one is the best. Is it Zodiac? Is it Whitey? Or is it Manson?
And Whitey is the best. I understand it now.
James, you know what to do. Guys, it's been a really fun show. Thank you for joining us for one more episode of None Taken.
When a guy's banging you,
Y'all let me in this damn house.
oh, how about that?
Come in the name of peace.
LMFAO.
So what in the world is this?
Is Kevin McCarthy a moron, and if so, why?
Why would you say something that stupid?
I come without explanations or solutions.
I'm a very sexy lady.
Cat turd.
I will not suffer this harlot.
How great! An anti-American Marxist.
Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
Read the news.
China is asshole.
God bless the United States.
Podcasting.
All right, dude, drive safe. That was
Cheers. That was fun.